First off, before I get into starting in the video, I want to thank everybody who's been supporting the channel. Where we've hit over 4,000. Really appreciate it. I know that some people might come out and say, "Well, man, Megan, you've been doing this for a while," but I don't ever put out as much content as I should. Really, to be honest with you, but and I haven't, and I've done it. I feel like I've done it the right way. Just kind of grinded it out. You know what I'm saying? Not trying to find and join cliques or try to find people to help me promote the channel or whatever. I just do it. And I've been doing it my way. And it's a slow grind, but it's still grinding. And I appreciate for the people who got me over there. We on the quest now to get to 5. After that, I think that's when everything will really start rolling. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate you guys for the support. But anyway, let's get to it. Let me go ahead and check some things, make sure this is all good. And I know that this is the reason why I always kind of throw an intro out there just to make sure. But anyway, what's going on, everybody? Let's get to it. All right, as you can see right here, now I'm going to start off first with the delay. But I do have to touch on this, as you can see here in the background, where somebody is saying, don't be surprised if Microsoft's first-party games stop launching day one on Game Pass. The service isn't paying the bills. I'm going to get into that here in a second. But let me explain why the title, it says, Xbox staff needs an apology. You know how I get into my rabbit holes and go a little bit deeper than most. But, all right, so about maybe a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago, whatever, when we first found out about the whole situation with the Spider-Man deal, and then of course with the KOTOR situation where the staff came to, well, not the staff, but the devs came to Xbox and was bringing up the situation about, hey man, we're thinking about bringing KOTOR back, and we would like you to, help us fund it, let it be first, time exclusive or make it exclusive or whatever, since it was, known to be an Xbox game. And Xbox was basically like, kind of don't want to do that. And I looked at that as the biggest L. Like, there was a topic on GRG where I had, well, which one was the biggest fail? Was it because of the Spider-Man situation? Because they went to, I believe the people that finally got a hold of Spider-Man went to Xbox, and Xbox was like, no. And then, of course, Sony got Spider-Man, and then, of course, they acquired Insomniac, and then the rest is history. I never looked at that as the biggest fail because, like I've said before, if Spider-Man was on Xbox One, I do not believe Spider-Man, no matter how good Spider-Man was, because we don't know if Insomniac would have had a chance to get a hold of Spider-Man. Maybe somebody that they probably would have went with a second party, entity to work on the Spider-Man game. And who's to say that Spider-Man would be as good as the Spider-Man that we have now? And on top of that, the Xbox One is kind of like, it had the scarlet letter. Anything that Xbox brought out, it was still going to be looked at as not powerful enough, weak, not good, this and that. Now people are going back and playing Rise, Quantum Break, ReCore, all these other games that Xbox has had, and seeing like, damn, these games were good. But at that point in time, during the Xbox One era, nah, it would have still got, it had the scarlet letter. I still don't think that Xbox would have got the love, so that Spider-Man would have got the love that it deserved. Or who's to say that it would have been a good game if it wasn't Insomniac making that game? Who's to say? I don't know. But I looked at that as just kind of like one of them situations. Look, man, so Xbox can't get everything, and Sony got it. It's good. It's a great game. I mean, I really enjoyed Miles Morales. And Spider-Man, I kind of didn't feel it at first. I really enjoyed the beginning of it, fighting Kingpin, but then when I was going more into the game, I just kind of was like, eh. But now after playing that, now I'm going back, but I'm going to get the PC version for Spider-Man. I got the regular version for Spider-Man on my PlayStation 4, but I'd rather play it on the PC so I could get the full impact of the game. So anyway, I can't wait until the 12th so I can go ahead and and run through Spider-Man. But KOTOR was the thing for me that was the fail. Like, what the hell were you thinking? What Xbox? What? Come on, what was going on at the time? And I understand that it was, and at that time I believe it was right in the beginning of the transition with when Phil Spencer took over, or it's right around there when they first came up there. I believe it was like 2014, 2015. So, what are you saying, to Sean? He said Sony fans danced in the streets and cheered. Yeah, yeah. Egg on the face. We're gonna get into that. So pretty much, I looked at it as a fail. Like, how in the world would you let KOTOR go to PlayStation, knowing that PlayStation is going to rub that in the face, even though it's a timed exclusive? It doesn't matter. A timed exclusive for PlayStation to compare to PlayStation stands, they look at things like, bro, it's still ours, right? Like that's how they look at these games. It's pretty crazy, right? Um, but now knowing the news that we got, I think that maybe we need to start looking at Xbox a little bit different. This is myself included, because I've always been, people say I cap for Xbox and all this other stuff. I do. I mean, there's some people that kind of take what I say when I talk about PlayStation as though I hate PlayStation and all that other stuff, and I don't, because I still buy PlayStation things. I still buy Sony things. I don't hate Sony. I don't dislike Sony or PlayStation. I just feel that, the fans of PlayStation that does content, most of them don't tell you the stuff that needs to be said. If you're going to talk about Xbox 24/7 on your podcast and talk about the negative, then why you don't talk about the negative about PlayStation? So I will let people know about the negative or positive about PlayStation. I do, so that's just me. I just, but I feel that people need to know what's going on and let people make the decision themselves, just kind of like the whole Last of Us situation. It's your money. I'm not trying to pocket watch if you want to pay $70 for a game, but I feel that you need to not cap and try to tell people, hey, this is smart business. Yeah, it's smart business for Sony to over here make you look like a sucker, but come on, man, just say that you just want to get the game and I'm a sucker because I'm getting hustled, but I still want to get the game day one. And then for people that want to pocket watch, that's on them. But other than that, it's your money. You do what you want to do with it. But with this situation here, like I just said, no, man, come on. What Xbox? What are you thinking? What the hell is happening? KOTOR. This is everybody's expecting this game it should have been exclusive, or you get the marketing rights. This is the one. This is one of the legacy titles, the titles that kind of made the OG Xbox, right? And then now we found out this news that the game's getting delayed, and it's getting delayed indefinitely. So there's two things within that, right? Like indefinitely definitely means that they don't have a timeline, but they're trying to say, well, we're going to project 2025. Hey, man, look, that is a long ass time for a game that was slated to come out at the end of, it was slated to come out in September, October of this year. That's a long time. And to me, that says either they're scrapping it and redoing it over, which gives the potential that this game might not ever see the light of day. Now, I'm not going to put that on the devs, the people to put all the hard work into it, but they're going to need more resources in order to go back and do the things they need to do. Now, we know that it's a time exclusive for Sony, but is Sony going to give that money to it? It had to be bad. Listen, check this out. This is the thing that trips me out, right? Okay, when it was pitched to Xbox, and I'm pretty sure that they had to see something or there was something that was a red flag for them in order for them to say, nah, bruh, we good. I mean, that was years ago. This game's been worked on since then, or even been pitched ever since, 2014, 2015? And this game was slated to come out now. And they're scrapping it, and then they're trying to say, well, we'll get it together by 2025. That doesn't seem logical whatsoever. This could be another one of those things, kind of like Detroit Become Human. Detroit Become Human was shown in 2013, was slated to be coming out at the end of of the PlayStation 3 generation. And Detroit Become Human didn't come out until what, 2018, 2017, 2018. So that's a minute. So this game, if it does see the light of day, which I hope it does, I want to see what it looks like. I can't wait to see some kind of leaks or something out there that shows why the studio looked at this and said, it looked at this when they were going to present this to PlayStation, so PlayStation, I guess, could show it off. And they said, no, we can't show this to Sony, bro. No. Nah, bruh. We can't show this off. We can't show this off. Nah. I mean, how bad did that game have to look? It reminds me when Randall Thor told me about Scalebound, right? Like, because I didn't go to that E3 to see it, and he explained it to me that, look, I mean, the dragons was doing the damn hammer dance. It just ain't ready. He said, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think that game's going to see the light of day. And I was like, no, Rand, you bullshit. No, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. And still to this day, Scalebound situation still breaks my heart. It breaks my heart to this day, still. But Rand was right. It never seen the light of day. And this could be the same type of situation. So this is why I say that there should be an apology out there. It's because Xbox seen something well beforehand, and then I thought like it was kind of disrespectful because they were saying that it just didn't seem that the game or the developers kind of knew what they were doing. Now that was in the article. I don't know if that's what the Xbox staff said at the time. But that's what kind of that they alluded to in the article of reasoning why Xbox wasn't interested into promoting this game or making it exclusive or timed or whatever, or adding a marketing deal. So they were right, because if this game wasn't ready now after all these years, we're talking about almost 10 years. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about with 8 to 10, almost 8 to 10 years with this game being in development, and this game was not ready. Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. What's up with you, Slayer? What's up with you? Sleepy Goblin? What's going on, guys? So Xbox definitely needs an apology. And I'm gonna give them that apology because I was on their ass on GRG that night. I was like, Xbox, what the hell are you doing? What are you thinking? Now I understand, it was beginning of Phil taking over and all this other stuff. I'm not feeling it. I'm not understanding it. But now, since we know what's going on, so obviously the studio knew Sony was going to say the same thing. Like, what the hell is this, man? You better put this back in the oven. You better put some more ingredients in this. So they didn't even let Sony see it. So that tells you how bad it had to be. Awful. Absolutely horrid. So that's one thing. Let's go a little bit further. And I know there was so many people out there that was talking so much trash. We got this, we got that, whatever. All right, so what did you say, Sleepy? You said, Giggle, Sony looked at it and said it needed Kratos added in. Maybe a boy in a throwable axe, and it wasn't going to fly. What you said, Cali Rex? What he said? He said the YouTuber said he still has sources in the studio. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so let's go a little bit further. I think the biggest problem with, especially doing this content creator thing, we got to live in the moment. We always live in the moment. And that's why sometimes when you see people that'll throw videos right after some news come, I don't necessarily do it. Or if I do, it's a couple of days or maybe a week later or something like that. It has to be like something that just blows the mind for me to just come right during the same day when everybody's, going crazy about something like, the Bethesda thing or the Activision thing or anything else out there, right? Because you never know what happens. It usually takes around 2, 3 to 6 months before you finally get to understand what's really going on. And then you realize, oh shit, well, I did make that video talking about it, but you got to live on. You made the mistake, whatever. You gotta do it. And like I said, I went off on Xbox about that situation. And so, like I said, that it's an apology. Another reason why people should give Xbox an apology is because we live too much in the past. We live too much in the past of the Xbox One era. Now, I enjoyed the Xbox One era. There was nothing like overly just horrible about the console generation. It was just lackluster compared to its predecessor, the 360. And that was glaring because the advertising wasn't good. The lack of JRPGs, the lack of fighters, the lack of everything else other than just shooters, and you know what I'm saying, the lack of action games. It was a lack of a lot of things. After it was a lack of a lot of things, and so it was one of those things to me that was just kind of like, what the hell is going on? And then once Phil took over, and then I was like, well, it's going to take some time, for sure. So they're going to just kind of pack it up, wait till the beginning of this gen, of the new gen, which is this gen right now. And really go balls to the wall. And then, of course, here we go in 2018, the acquirements of getting Ninja Theory, which I still think is going to be the sleeper. And I've always appreciated playground games, but the more and more I play Forza, like I started playing Forza 5 again here the last week or so, and the more I appreciate what Playground does. I mean, I'm a racing fan. So it's like I play all different types of racers. But what they do with their racers is just absolutely incredible. I mean, Turn 10 are the gods of knowing. I would say Turn 10 and Coalition are the gods of knowing how to work Xbox tech, the Xbox hardware, period. And so for Turn 10 to go into to help Playground, and then Playground just kind of feeds off of that, and now done what Turn 10 is known to do with Xbox hardware, and present what they do. And like I said, the Coalition, yeah, it's no question. And then I think like Ninja Theory is going to do the same thing. So, and I mean, and that's no disrespect to any other studios that Xbox has. It's just the thing for me that I'm just saying out of right now. Scalebound. I mean, I said Scalebound. See, Scalebound's still on my mind. Lord have mercy. Oh, rest in peace. Ninja Theory, but the Coalition, what they did with Hivebusters, which it is very disappointing for. There was not that many people, I guess, didn't play the game. I don't know what the problem is, but you need to play it. It's not that long of a game, but it is some of the best looking graphics that you will ever see. I will even put those graphics. And I would still say that Horizon Forbidden West is the better looking game, but Hivebusters is not that far off. It's not that far off at all. That's how great that game is. That game looks absolutely damn stunning. So, and then of course what you see with Forza, and then when I jumped on the Hot Wheels, I'm like, this is nuts. I'm getting like, I'm getting so excited to play. I mean, I enjoy racers, but I mean, it's a racer, and you shouldn't have the same feeling of like when you're playing a great adventure game or something like that. But Playground just knows how to do it. Turn 10 just knows how to get you excited to play a racer. That's why I always say, listen, racers. If a racer is going to give you that type of elation, it's a game, and it still should be qualified as a game that gives you, that should be up for a nominee if it's blown up, if it gives you that much joy. And man, playing the Hot Wheels, I'm just like, golly, it's insane. Anyway, so you look at this situation of seeing what Xbox was doing, and like I said, we live in the past. And so anything that's not great news that's coming from Xbox, we're quick to jump on it as though it's something that happened in the Xbox, because of what happened in the Xbox One era. Going back to the delay situation, which I to this day, I still say what I have to say. People were acting out of pocket, being ridiculous over some damn delays. I don't give a damn if people don't like what I had to say about it, if they still mad about it. I don't care. I mean, you know what I'm saying, I don't need everybody to like me, and I don't care if everybody doesn't like me. I say what I say. I don't kiss nobody's ass. I do what I have to do to make sure that I'm going to be truthful to the people that listen and support me. And I am not going to sit here and tell you that the delay was a failure, because a delay has never been a failure if it's going to make the product better. Make that make sense to me, where a delay, if something is delayed, I mean, think about it for a car, for instance, like when there's a recall. Is that a failure? Now, it was a failure to release that vehicle with something that wasn't made, that had faulty seatbelt, or faulty motor part or something like that. That was the fail, because there's people that's lost their lives or got hurt, or nevertheless, that shit should have been delayed so they could have the right parts, or check the engine or check whatever to make sure that things were proper. But then when you do a recall, and so they want to fix it because overall they don't want to get sued out their ass, and then that vehicle won't get purchased or whatever, so they got to recall it. And so I don't see anybody saying that's a fail because they did a recall. They're just trying to do the right thing. So how is it a fail to delay a game for 6, 7, 8 months, or even a year, to make sure that the product is better? It blew my mind. And so for so many Xbox gamers that, I expect the PlayStation stands to do that. But to see Xbox gamers to go left like they did was just, it was silly as hell. So, and now since we see that there's so many games that play, because PlayStation does it. Like, there was somebody that was in the chat that said to me yesterday when I posted something, they said, well, Xbox gives you a bunch of dreams, and they're lying to you because they're delaying their games, and you got to sit and wait for games. So you're telling me that PlayStation's a bunch of liars, and that every year, for every game, damn near every game that's usually been marketed or that is in their first party has been delayed. I never looked at any PlayStation delays as a failure. I looked at it, they're just trying to get their games together. So again, Xbox needs an apology, because we're just a few months away from seeing Starfield and seeing Redfall, and God knows what else we'll be seeing next year. I mean, it's going to be nuts. I just think that people just lost their mind over that shit. What up with you? What up with you, Black Mamba? What's happening with you? So let's keep going. I also look at this situation here is that why Xbox gamers always tend to think about, like, when there's something that just doesn't seem right or whatever. And the one thing too is the lack of the AAA first party games, which I have no problem. People can be disappointed about it. Like, people can be disappointed about the delay. Don't get me wrong about the delays. But you can't go out and go left about it. And it does make this year not look as great as what last year was. Now, I will say this. If people were up in arms, if we went, and I say we as Xbox gamers, went without a AAA game for the last since the Xbox Series X first came out, then I would say, okay, everybody's justified to being upset, because, like, what the hell is the slow up? I mean, I understand games take time to get out there, but hell, you could have something out there. But since 2021 was such a great year and it was Publisher of the Year, you would think that you would, like, okay, yeah, it's a messed up year, but in the sense of AAA games. But look at the success. Now, this is where I'm going with this. This goes back to this tweet right here. All right. So I mean, me and this cat, we've gone back and forth a couple of times or whatever. But okay, so yesterday I looked at two different things. This is what just kind of tells you how it's all just crazy on social media, man, because people play the game how they want to play it. Like they, you know what I'm saying? People are going to take the negative from one side and just only point that out instead of talking about the positive. So there was some numbers that came out that said Xbox revenue or Xbox was down on certain things, 11% on one, 6% on another, like this and that or whatever, right? And so this popped up. Don't be surprised if Microsoft's first party games stop launching day one on Game Pass. That service is not paying the bills. So when you see what some of the PlayStation stands came out there and was posting, they were over here talking about that numbers were down. Well, there's a factor to that why the numbers were down is because Xbox did so well in 2021 because of course they had those first party IPs. There was a lot of that, you know what I'm saying? There was a reason why Xbox was named the publisher of the year last year because they had a lot of content that was there, and a lot of people picked up on Game Pass. A lot of people picked up a lot of consoles and things like this. But think about this for a second. Let's go back in time. PlayStation went through the same thing because I remember when Xbox gamers, and this is why I say the sales things and all that shit is just really it's ridiculous. But you know, it is what it is. I'll play the game sometimes just because it's fun. But PlayStation went through the same thing when they dropped all of the. I don't know if it was 2017 or 2018. I cannot remember, but they dropped all of those big titles, and then that following year, PlayStation number was down. I think it was 2018, and then in 2019, their numbers were down. And the excuse that PlayStation games was that, well, they're getting ready for the new generation and all this and all that. No, it's because they had such a fantastic year that previous year. Like, people are not going to be buying games like they were because those titles, the same type of games didn't come out for PlayStation that year. Right. Yeah, I did see that, Callie. I did. That's something we definitely gonna be talking about on GRG Friday. Yeah, I saw that. And you know what? And I've been saying that about the Square Enix situation. Like, there was a reason why they got rid of Idios or Edios. That was a reason why Square Enix got rid of them because they want to get purchased, and Sony is going to get. I'm 100% still staying strong on that. Sony's going to acquire Square Enix. The way the Square Enix is operated, they kind of just shun Xbox when it comes to certain titles. They'll give them a little nugget here, a little nugget there. But the thing that also adds to that is the 2-year exclusivity with PlayStation. To me, that gives them plenty of time to hold on to those titles, so those titles will not be able to come over to Xbox until after the merger, and then PlayStation can decide if they want to send them over or not, and most likely PlayStation won't. I feel that Final Fantasy VII could still come, but anything after that, no, hell no, hell no. So I mean, for Spoken could be a situation where it might not ever come to Xbox, things like that. I don't know about things that's coming out at this point in time, but I think that noise will get louder and louder about Square Enix going to PlayStation, with especially coming down after we hear more about the Activision news. I think that's still up. I think that there's still some people that's thinking that's still up in the air because, you hear there was one report that came out that was saying that Europe was going to sue or do something, or they were going to do their investigation against the Activision deal or something like that. I forgot. That came out like a couple of weeks ago or whatever. And so people are still thinking that acquisition is not going to happen between Microsoft and Activision, but it's happening. And I was thinking about between September, October. The rumors are it could be in August, and if it comes that early, then yeah, and I can see then Sony throwing something, because that's going to be the big talking news for that whole entire, for maybe about a month, about the Activision Microsoft deal. So Sony's going to have to definitely throw something out there, and then Square Enix would be a very big, huge get for PlayStation, no doubt about it. And I think that was one part of it, Callie. So anyway, but back to my point. So when PlayStation had their downtime, and I seen Xbox gamers talking about it. I mean, look, this thing happens. They always go up and down. The pandemic, remember when everything was up, blown up, doing it, then everything went down. And I believe like in 2021, Xbox numbers were down. And then all of a sudden, boom, it just jumped right back up. And then you started seeing the stuff about the 25 million for Game Pass and all this and all that. So it's normal for those numbers to be down, but this is why I'm showing you this over here. While you got people over here, and look, right now it's up to 186 likes. You know the craziest thing about that cracks me up about the PlayStation community? They'll like any damn thing if it's disrespecting anything else. Like, I mean, they'll like anything. Like, listen, and I'm not trying to dog out Stray. I mean, I'm all about, look, I cap for Bleeding Edge. I still cap for Bleeding Edge. I hope that they go back to it eventually. And start working on Bleeding Edge, maybe not, but I enjoy what you enjoy. But there was somebody that got like 1,000 likes for a cat scratching a carpet. I mean, scratching a couch. Now listen, I know there's a lot of pet lovers out there. D is one of them. I mean, I got my dog. I got Briggs. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he weighs the size of a human, but it's 170. Well, the last time I weighed him, he was 71 pounds. But you know what I'm saying? I don't know if he's gotten any bigger. I think that's his max weight right now. But yeah. I mean, I enjoy pets too, but I look at this from a scenario like if Stray was a timed Xbox game and people were talking about, oh my God, this game is so amazing. What do you think that the PlayStation stands would say about that game? I mean, think about that for a second. What do you think that they would say about Stray? I don't know. I don't know. Now, like I said, everybody can like what they want to like. I'm not interested. I'm just not interested. I'm not interested. Sifu, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm gonna cop that game for sure. I just wasn't gonna cop it for what was it, $60. I'm not copping it for that much. I'm gonna wait for the price to go down. But because it's still expensive on the Epic Store. Because I was gonna get it on PC, and I was like, nah, I ain't paying that much for it. But yeah, Sifu, I'm with that. I mean, even if that was a PlayStation exclusive, it doesn't really matter to me or whatever. But it's just the fact of, yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about. Stray, okay. I'm not interested. So, and there'll be people that'll tell you that they're not interested in As Dust Falls. But that's funny because, and well, listen, and I can believe some of those PlayStation fans that they wouldn't be interested in As Dust Falls because they didn't really talk that much about Detroit Become Human, which I love Detroit Become Human. I thought that game should have been nominated for Game of the Year with, I believe that came out the same year with God of War and Red Dead Redemption. It was that good to me. Detroit Become Human is an excellent game. Excellent game. So I really did enjoy As Dust Falls. And more people are starting to like it. And I know that there's a big phenomenon for Stray, and hopefully that they'll get a sequel, and I'm happy for their success. It's just not something that I'm excited. But I always look at it from the perspective, what if that was an Xbox game? What would people be saying about that, right? So, and I'm like, he's scratching the couch. He's not jumping. I mean, the platforming stuff that I've seen, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That looks, because the animations and stuff look really lifelike and all that. But, yeah, anyway. So, but you get 187 likes for something that doesn't make any damn sense. Because right here on the right side, here we go. Microsoft's earnings call that Xbox Series X and S continue to be the fastest selling Xbox console released. Xbox has also been market leader in sales for next-gen platforms for 3 quarters in a row in North America. So when you look at this, when you look at something like this, which is talking about the revenue was down for Xbox for a quarter, and then you look at this, we know that they cap. Ben just throws the news. Ben just throws the news. That should tell you something right there. And on top of that, it also is a narrative that people ain't really paying attention to. Yes, first party titles are important. But let's just be real here. And even the PlayStation, even people within the PlayStation community like Colin and others out there are starting now to say the things that we said years ago about PlayStation and their percentages about their games. Like, yes, selling 10 million, selling 15 million, 20 million copies of a game is amazing. It's extraordinary. But think about it. When you brag about having 116 million consoles sold and your percentage is only, is less than 10% or 10% or less, that's overall, when you're looking at it, when you're projecting it from that standpoint, like, yes, that's a lot of sales, and that's nothing wrong with that. And that's great. Those games get sequels. People are buying them. But the one thing about that is that, not everybody that has a PlayStation is, it should be, what did he say? It's 1 out of every 12 PlayStation owners or something like that bought this game. Or so it was a crazy number that he said, that Colin said, right? And that should tell you something. While all these guys be talking this shit about sales and numbers and sales, it's not comparable to what Nintendo does. Nintendo is the one that sells those exclusives. Nintendo is the one that Xbox and PlayStation should not be talking about sales of their exclusives. Now, if their things get, if you get a game that hits 1 billion, that's something you could talk about. Of course, you get $1 billion franchise. That's impressive. But you come talking about it sold 10 million. Well, the game, God of War at one time was $4.99. Spider-Man was $9.99 at one time. Hell, they were giving the game for free. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. I understand. But when they brought up, when you got PlayStation people that are actually starting to bring up the same thing that Xbox content creators and stuff has been talking about, and it's not been in the form of disrespect. It's kind of like, come on, guys. I mean, does that make any sense? I mean, when you look at that ratio, where the Xbox has sold 50 or 60 million, Xbox One sold 50, 60 million, and Halo 5 sold 10 to 20 million, or let's just say for Horizon 3 and the Horizon games and all that sold 20 million, that percentage is much higher. A lot more people bought that game than when you look at it from the standpoint of having all these hundreds of millions of consoles and all that. Anyway, so that just it makes no sense to me. That's why I'm saying when people talk about numbers, it doesn't make any sense. And when they're talking about the exclusives and how much they sell, it's every Nintendo fan out there should be like, man, what are you talking about, bro? We kill you in numbers every time. Every time that we drop an exclusive, we kill you. You talk about how bad our graphics look. Our console is far behind. It's not. It doesn't keep up with the Joneses when it comes to power. But yet our exclusives kick ass. It dominates. So that's why I always looked at Xbox gamers like, why jump into that? Why jump into the fray of that? You're only going to be second at the best. Nintendo doesn't play around when it comes to their exclusives. It's just that simple. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Of course I'm using Colin's words. This is the thing, right? Colin kind of steps out of his realm for a minute because he sees the reality. And then when the PlayStation fans attack his ass, he gets right back on script. Because he did that. He's done that numerous times. And I'm not saying to do, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? He knows where his toast is buttered, right? Like, I mean, he's a PlayStation fan, and there's nothing wrong with that. But he knows where his toast is buttered, bro. Like you can't. He'll get out of pocket and say something. I mean, it's no different than anybody else, I guess. So it is what it is. But he does. He gets out of pocket, and then the PlayStation fans getting his ass, and then he watch the next video or whatever. Then he's going to be ripping Xbox for something or whatever. You get back in form, but he's even seeing the reality. He's seeing the light. Come on, guys. Come on. So, but that's right there. You just see the tale of both sides right here. You see this, that Xbox are going to stop doing their games day and date on Game Pass because it's not paying the bills, to this. Come on, man. Come on. And that was the point, and that's the overall point that I want to make about what I'm saying, this apology to Xbox. They've had their strategy. Their strategy has been working. And if you think about it, Xbox this year has no AAA first-party titles. And they've outsold PlayStation in Japan for numerous months. They're winning in United States. They're not that far behind PlayStation in overall sales in the world. Think about that for a second. And I see somebody give an excuse and say, well, it was the chip shortage. Whose fault is that? I mean, whose fault is that? Xbox made sure that they changed. They took care of their situation. So I guess the point of what they're trying to say is that, well, it's because of the chip shortage, and then when it starts repping up, then it's going to be all over. No, it's not, because you know what's going to happen? That Activision deal is going to happen. And who's to say that the chip shortage is not? It's still happening. I don't know if it is or not. I ain't been paying attention, but let's say that it still is. When that Activision Microsoft deal goes through, and Call of Duty, forget about everything else. Call of Duty is on Game Pass. It's over. It's over. Because the whole point of this, the whole reason why I'm making this point is this. Xbox didn't have any AAA games coming out this year. No AAA big bangers. And they're still selling like hotcakes. What the hell do you think is going to happen when these games come out? The delayed games come out. What do you think is going to happen? The revenue is going to go back up. Everything is going to go back up. And that's all she wrote. That's all she wrote. Xbox is already chewing into the mind share. I've been saying that this generation is going to belong to Xbox when it's all said and done. King David said the same thing. Others are starting to understanding, look, Xbox is not that far away. Look, and let's not forget, PlayStation has always been in more regions than Xbox. Always has. That was the whole one reason why they tried to make this, why PlayStation stands tried to make this point. Well, the 360 got outsold by the PlayStation 3. Everybody knows who won that generation. In a sense, if you want to go by sales, it was the Wii, because the Wii dominated in sales. But everybody knows who had that mind share, who was the king of that generation. So much so that the Xbox One suffered because of course, the price, the $500 price. But people just didn't want to get rid of their 360. The 360 was a goat. It was the goat of that generation. PlayStation gamers was so quick to get rid of the PlayStation 3. It was nuts. Nuts. They left that poor system in the dust. Man, I ain't seen so many days. I was going to looking for some tools. So I went to a pawn shop. So what you talking about, Jamaican Chief? We still doing console? I'm not doing console war shit. Me sitting here saying the facts is not console war shit. Me saying that PlayStation is trash, that's console war shit. Me saying that Nintendo is trash, that's console war shit. Know the difference. You don't ever hear me say things about PlayStation to the degree that you hear from some people out there. Oh, PlayStation is garbage. I've sit there and I've said, if I would have had interviews or just when people have asked me about my past with gaming, I always say the PlayStation 1 is the best console I've ever experienced. Just number one. Now it's either between, and number two is between the 360 or the Dreamcast, but I think I'm leaning 360 and Dreamcast third. Yeah, I show gameplay of me playing PlayStation games. I talk about PlayStation games in positive. You don't see me dogging out games, period. Like, even if I don't like games, like I said, I talk about strays. Not for me. I'm not interested. But I hope people enjoy those games. That's console war shit. When people out there saying, oh, this game is trash, everything is garbage, nothing is good about it, that's console war stuff. I don't do that. I've never done that. No, but if I say that Xbox is going to win, is going to win the generation, that's not console war stuff. That's just me making a prediction saying that Xbox is going to be overall is going to be the better console at the end of the generation. If I'm wrong, then it's here. You could go ahead and throw it up there. And I'll admit if I'm wrong. No problem. But there's a difference between console war banter and me just making my points about this situation. It's not the same. Yeah, you got into the console. You got into the video late, brother. Yeah, no. This isn't I'm talking about in the sense of what people say about certain things, and like I said, like I got everything. I don't have the PlayStation 5 yet, which I'm still going to get one. Now, this will probably be my last PlayStation console that I'll buy, because since they're putting their games on PC, I think that's it. But I'm still going to be supporting. Like, it was the same thing about when I said to people when they were all upset and up in arms when Xbox decided to put their games on PC. I'm like, it's smart. PC gamers, they spend all this money for their rigs. They're not, or even if the ones that just have like a powerful enough rig or laptop just to play games, they're not going. There's a reason why they don't buy a console, and it's smart. And I told them that Sony was going to do the same thing, and they did. But of course, it's whatever. So no, there's people that label me into this console war bullshit. Whatever. Like I said, I don't care. Let people need to just listen to my content, listen to what I say, and then go from there. You know what I'm saying? Now, will I talk my shit? I will. There's no doubt about it. You know what I'm saying? Am I more of a fan of Xbox than I am PlayStation now these days? Absolutely, I am. My PlayStation is my side piece, but that doesn't take away from what PlayStation has that's still great. And that doesn't take away from anybody that prefers PlayStation over. I will, you know what I'm saying? I will game with anybody that hasn't been out of pocket. But I game with, you know what I'm saying? I sit there when I stream and I play on my fighters and stuff like that. They'll see me play it on PC. They'll see me play it on PlayStation. They'll see me play it on Nintendo, whatever. Win, lose, or draw. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I try to tell people, stop talking about the sales shit as though this the all end all, because when they was talking about the console sales last gen, that was the standard. And when we would try to tell people, no, it is the software that's the standard. The console, they got to recoup money in order to try to keep even. And most of the time, if they sell really well, they'll come up even, or they'll get a little bit over even, but they still never, it's all about the software. That's where they make their money. And then all of a sudden, then they started to talk about, well, when all those numbers started coming in about what PlayStation was doing, and they started even saying themselves, it's about the software revenue, then they started to change their tune. I could tell you how many times the stance has been wrong about so many things that other Xbox gamers have been trying to tell, or content creators have been trying to tell them. Backwards compatibility. It's ridiculous. Come on, man. Shit. Anyway, it's not console war shit. Just speaking my mind, and I'm being respectful about it to a degree, I guess. Well, nobody said Sony was struggling. I never at one point said that Sony was struggling whatsoever. Me saying that Sony is not going to be the market leader at the end of this generation is not, it's not saying that they're going to struggle. I never said one time that Sony was going to close their doors and they were going to go in the way in the sunset like others have said. I'm not going that far. But I just feel that the more and more that Sony makes these decisions to keep pushing gamers into making decisions on spending more money for less content, it's going to bite them in the ass. It's going to. The Last of Us situation, when I've seen more PlayStation gamers complain about PlayStation this generation within this short split. The generation has not even been 2 years fully in yet. And I've seen PlayStation, the PlayStation community complain more about PlayStation than I have all of last gen. Think about that. Think about that for a second. Now, I kind of went off of what I was saying, but I'm going to get right back to it. And then I'll go ahead and I'll wrap it up. But you know, I get on my rants. You say Sony is and will continue to lose market share. That was predicted by analysts, and it is true. Yeah, no, it is. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I'm not an analyst, but I mean, I'm a person that follows trends. I see these things. I never come up here say that I come out and thinking that I'm a know-it-all. I just follow the trends, and I've been batting damn near 1,000. I'm very rarely am I wrong about certain things. And when I'm wrong, I do step up and I say I'm wrong about certain things, about things. But for the majority of the things that I've said and predicted ever since I've started coming into YouTube, I've been hitting it. I've been absolutely right. And so, you know what I'm saying? And of course, out of all the things that I've said, not everything that I'm saying is going to be 100% correct. But man, when I just see the trend, it's too much. Sony is trying to, and even Don made this point, which is smart, but how smart is it in the long run? The reason why they raise the prices to these games is because by the time that game will depreciate, because all games depreciate, they can still make more money off of those discounted games. And see, when Don brought that up, I was like, whoa, that makes perfect sense. But you know what that's going to do otherwise. Look, people ain't got time to be buying. People out here been complaining about gas, groceries, and all other types of things out there. You know what I'm saying? People's mortgages, people's rent, people's now I don't know if car payments is going on, because I got my cars paid for, thank God. I got my vehicles paid for. But I mean, I'm sure that car payments are up as well. And then all these other things, the utilities, they're up. That's for damn sure. I know that. So you're raising prices for video games? That's entertainment. That's not something I need every day of my life. Now, there are some people out there that needs their gaming or whatever that you know, but I mean, priorities come first. You know, you got to take care of your bills and shit first, because if you ain't got the lights on, how the hell are you going to be playing the game? So, you know, so when all these things are up and you got things that you got to pay in the real world, you got a $70 game that's out there and it's standard. Come on, man. When you look at the competition and they're doing 60, yeah, no. And there's no, it's all about the value. People are looking for value. And that's the thing. That's the thing I think at the end of the day that will hurt Sony, is because Sony is always trying to undercut their own fan base. That's them. That's their business model. That's not me trying to make anything up. That's their business model. Just look at it. They're trying to find a way to hustle their consumers by trying to make more money. And I know that the game is about making more money, but choosing the time, because remember, they started raising these prices and stuff when the pandemic was out. There was people that wasn't even working and they over here trying to charge more money. So I commended the Xbox community when Xbox was Xbox was trying to play that with the trying to raise the price of Xbox Live or Game Pass or something. They were trying to raise the price of that, and people were like, nah. And Xbox changed that shit real quick. Real quick. Now will they eventually raise the price on something? I'm sure they will. But they better choose the best time to do it. So you just can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's different when you're trying to come out with logic, and when people try to make it out to be, man, this your fanboy, you over here console war. Nah, it's a discussion of it's a point of logic. It's not me saying that PlayStation is a bad console, or the PlayStation community are bad people, or that PlayStation is a failure. I don't ever say those things. I never have. I always, and this is the sad thing about it. Like, people will take, if there will be people that will take, and I'm pretty sure that they will, because I don't pay attention to it. I kind of told people that would send me stuff that other people would send, like they would take my comments from Twitter or from my videos or from whatever, and they would take it and they would say, oh, Mega, they talking about you. I don't give a shit. Stop telling me about it. I don't care. If that helps them build their revenue to feed their kids, okay, so what? Say Uncle Mega did this for you this week or this month. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Because if you got to use lies and deceit to try to raise your channel up, do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? I got more dignity there. I'm not gonna come in there and tell you, oh man, Xbox is the greatest thing ever, man. Xbox is, man, Xbox don't do no wrong. PlayStation, they're failures. Nintendo, they're failures. Only Xbox is where you need to be. I don't say no dumb shit like that. You know how many times Xbox has made mistakes? Come on now. So the thing for me is just like, but when we play, like I said earlier in the beginning of this video, the stream, when PlayStation makes these mistakes, the PlayStation stands rarely talk about it. It has to be drastic, and then they get into they put their heads in the sand and just say, okay, just do it. There are literally PlayStation gamers out there arguing damn near every day about the Last of Us situation. And there's people that will try to tell you, well, you're just mad because that game ain't on Xbox. I don't give a shit. I got the game on PlayStation. Hell, I bought the one on PlayStation 3, didn't like it. I just couldn't get into it. I bought the remake on sale so I could see if I could like that. And I'm like, I didn't know. I still can't get into it. I bought The Last of Us 2. I did like The Last of Us 2, but I didn't have the sense of feeling how people felt because of the whole Joel and stuff situation, and how, I didn't like the ending. I couldn't stand the fact that Ellie didn't take care of business. But I mean, that's the direction they're going. But the gameplay and everything else was better. I thought the game was a better game, in my opinion. And then I'm going to buy the PC version when it comes for a cheaper price. I'm not paying $70. So I'm still supporting a game that I'm trying to figure out if I like it or not. When I've already played the game damn near, twice, and I've only gotten a little bit further than I played it on the PlayStation 3. So who cares, right? Like, whatever. I just look at this situation as PlayStation is biting themselves in the foot by trying to be greedy. And I understand businesses are greedy. It is what it is. I know that. But you got to show me some value. Like NBA 2K. Like one of these people try to bring the NBA 2K situation to me. Oh, NBA, you're gonna buy a game that's constantly that's just giving you a reset roster and you're gonna pay. You're bragging about you're gonna pay $150 for it. What did you look at the description of what's coming with that $150 version of NBA 2K23? First off, I'm getting a hell of a lot more content than The Last of Us for $70, and I'm getting NBA League Pass. So I got a call. I had to call them back. And I'm getting NBA League Pass. If they offered 12 months of HBO Max, because they're doing a TV show here pretty soon for The Last of Us, then you're talking. I'm like, okay, I can see that. That's 12 months of HBO Max. We pay for HBO Max in this house. I got my mom HBO Max for 12 months. Hell, I got my mom. It was 140 some bucks for a year of Discovery Plus. So yeah, NBA League Pass is 107. The last time I had NBA League Pass, it was like 200 bucks. That was some years ago because I had NBA League Pass and I had NFL ticket. I had them both. That shit got too hectic. That shit got too hectic, especially when my kid went to college, and then he's always coming to me like, "Bro, okay, I can't keep doing. I gotta let something go." So and so like I see this, and so I think like League Pass is maybe around like 170 bucks now, 170, 75, something like that. That get $150, I get a video game, all of this content, and I get NBA League Pass for 12 months. Now you talk. I'm going to pay the $150. That because even if I play NBA 2K23 for a week, I still got value because I'm going to be watching NBA League Pass all year long. All year long. So, I mean, I'll be definitely playing NBA 2K more than a week, but I'm just saying, like, there's content there. So if somebody got HBO Max, they got a hell of a lot more content. Or if there was let's say you got 12 months of PSN Plus with that $70, something else other than just giving that game out for $70, put some polish on it and saying this is it. Nah, bro, that's just not cool. Yeah, you said it's 182. Yeah, so I knew it was 100. Yeah, somebody because I think somebody told me it was 170, 175. Like when I first got it, well, when I first had it, I had it for like 3 years straight. That and NFL ticket for 3 years straight, and I was paying anywhere upwards of almost $400. Close, well, yeah, close to $400. It wasn't $400, but it was like 100, like 300 and like $35. You know what I'm saying? So for those two services alone. So that's not included your internet bill. Come on, man. And your utilities on top of that? Yeah, no. So yeah, that's a deal. And that's all I'm saying about that. Like, no, the game looks great, but come on, man. Stop it. But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, there should be like the whole PlayStation community, if they were all in unison and saying, look, Sony, we appreciate you doing this, but you took content away and you're telling us that the standard version for this is $70 when that game was free on PSN at one point in time? Or I could get the game for $10. And then what's the crazy thing is that they're going to discontinue the game. I don't know if they've already discontinued the game, so you can't buy it now. So you have to. So if you want to force you to buy this game for $70, that's not good. That's not good. That's not good. To charge you more for you added a service, which I think is great for PlayStation gamers. I think, you know what I'm saying? That's why I was like, man, Sony is going to do this because Sony don't want to lose no money. People are going to see Game Pass and people are going to just go to Game Pass. Or even if they're going to get something, they're going to get the cheapest version of an Xbox that they can, so they can be able to play the games that they aren't going to pay full price for on PlayStation. Because Game Pass is going to have those games most likely for a monthly fee, or if they pay for a year, or for what they always try to bring, the dollar. So Sony had to do this. And so Sony did it, but then they're going to, okay, no day and date for their games. Okay, cool, whatever. That's still going to bite them in the ass eventually. Especially if they keep doing multiple games within a year. And we know the average gamer out there, because gamers like us who watch these things and to participate in these things, participate into social media, and I said, we're going to buy a lot more games than the average person. The average person only buys around 3 games a year. And if PlayStation drops 6 games, six exclusives within that year, and they're all $70 or more, nah, bruh, that's going to bite them in the ass eventually. While the competition is like, look, man, hey, all our shit is on. All you got to do is subscribe. You can just subscribe for $1, enjoy it. Then you go in there and you say, "Oh damn, I saw this game on PlayStation. I was wanting to get that game. I was wanting to get Plague's Tale 2 or Atomic Heart. Man, I was looking at that game, but I was going to wait until it came on sale on the PlayStation Store. I could play this shit for $1. Then that dollar turns into a 3-month plan because you're in the middle of playing this and then what you playing on PlayStation, and then next thing you know, you playing for 6 months, and then you might let it lapse after 6 months. But then another game comes out. Like maybe you want to play Starfield, or maybe you want to play something else that comes down like Hellblade 2. You're going to resubscribe again. And Xbox will say, "Yo, go ahead, do it for $1." But you're going to stay another couple of months. Yeah, PlayStation had to do this. And it's going to bite them in the ass because they're not going to put their games on there day and date, and they're going to sit there and charge you $70 plus. That's going to bite them in the ass. And then you're going to sit there and think that, and they think they're going to double that revenue because they're going to put those games a year later on PC. That's going to get short. That gap is going to get shorter and shorter. First, it was like it's 2, 3, 4 years later. It's going to get shorter and shorter. Now, it might not ever be day and date, but it's damn sure going to get a gap between 3 to 6 months. Mark my words on that. We're already hearing about The Last of Us is soon going to be coming on to on PC. So we're talking about sometime this year. That's crazy. That's crazy. So I don't know. But yeah, the thing I know, and I went left, but I'm reading the chat. So, but overall, Xbox is doing amazing, and having a year where it's down, exclusive wise. And the point that I was trying to make with that before I went left was they are this whole narrative that these exclusives are what drives these consoles might not be as what we think. Now, with Nintendo, absolutely, because their third party is not that strong. But for PlayStation and Xbox, I don't know. Think about this for a second. PlayStation is bringing all their strongest legacy games out this year. Well, some of them, because I mean, when they drop Twisted Metal again and stuff like that, I mean that's old technically, whatever. But I'm talking about for the games that right now were the hottest games of last gen. God of War, Horizon, and even Gran Turismo, because there was people that was bragging about Gran Turismo sports sales. 2 of those games already came out, and you didn't see Sony bragging about their sales. Think about that for a second. Think about that for a second. But when you look at that list, now they already show those European lists, which is okay. But when you look at the overall list, the top 10, you rarely see a PlayStation game up there. Now, God of War will be a top 10 game. But it's always the third party. The Call of Duties, the NBA 2Ks, the Maddens, the Destinies, those games. Those games always the FIFAs. So when people think that Xbox won't survive this year and that they're going to go down, it actually ain't true, because when you look at this, let's just click on it. Look at that. Look at that. And this is a down year. That's why I try to explain to people, stop talking about what these exclusives are doing, and stop tripping with Xbox. Give Xbox their apology, because they're still kicking ass and don't have a AAA title banger in 2022. They don't have it. It's not coming. Now, Stalker just miraculously pop up at the end of the year, that would be absolutely amazing. But other than that, no, I'm looking forward to Scorn. But Scorn ain't a AAA title. And Xbox is doing this? Still? Yeah, this is another narrative that's got to go. It is the third party that is dominated. And that's not only with PlayStation, but that's with Xbox too. The third party is because you know why the casuals enjoy they get their CODs, they get their FIFAs, they get their Maddens, they get their NBA 2Ks, they get whatever else that's in that top 10. See back. She said, I'll buy all the consoles. That's why they're selling. Bro, I wish I had that bread like that, but I still wouldn't be, because I would be gifted some I'll be gifting some Xboxes to some people. I got the bread. If I had the bread like that, yeah, I'd definitely do that. Now, if I get to 5,000, I'll gift a console. So that's my goal. If I get to 5,000 subs, I'll definitely I'll gift a console, because that right there. Because usually when you get to that 5,000 mark, then you start rolling. So, we're getting there. We're getting there. But that's, to me, is one of those things. To me, I just don't. It's saying something. Think about this as well. If you don't agree with what I'm saying about the third party and how dominant the third party is over exclusives, when PlayStation last gen had their sparse moment, wasn't that the time when PlayStation started to leave Xbox, and there was that whole 6-1? Think about that for a second. Right when they announced the PlayStation Slim and the Pro, and then when you had the articles, well, it's smart for PlayStation to let these games cook and to be sparse right now, and then zoom, PlayStation was gone, left Xbox One in the dirt. 6-1, 7-1. I don't know how the gap was insane. Was it because they had exclusives? Because they didn't have that many exclusives. They had some indies and some other stuff, but it was that price. It was the price of the Slim, and it was those Call of Duties. They had the marketing. They had all the marketing. They had the commercials. They had all of that. So again, and so I'm looking at what you're saying, Jamaican Chief. And so the one is cheaper than the other, right? I've said this. I said when Xbox made it clear, I said the one thing that Xbox needs to do is do what PlayStation did by undercutting Xbox One. Xbox got greedy. They got overconfident because of the power of the 360. They tried to force the Kinect on people, which I love the Kinect. And then what happened? Boom. Boom. And PlayStation said, we're dropping it to $100, and then they dropped a $300 console. That was it. That was all she wrote. Xbox couldn't dare compete. And then by the time that Xbox did bring the S out, it's too late. So Xbox had to change the strategy. Like, okay, so we're getting beat not only in price, but we're even getting beat in power. So then that's why the Xbox One X popped up, and it's great. And so now Xbox is saying, look, we're going to try to, I don't see Xbox not doing this forever now. Appreciate it, Addict. Said, don't mind me, just enjoying the smoke. Appreciate it, Addict. It is apparent what's going on here. The whole talk about exclusives, and then you're looking at this shit right here. Xbox Series X and S continue to be the fastest selling console ever released. It's still selling. It beat Japan multiple months. It beat the PlayStation in Japan multiple months without no exclusive bangers. What does that tell you, people? These narratives that these stands has constantly been saying, they're dying on the vine. Boy, they're rotten as fruit. It doesn't make sense. It's not. Listen, help me make this sense. Make this make sense to me. All these things, backwards compatibility, nobody cares. PlayStation decided to do it. I mean, there's so many. I can't. My mind started thinking about like 6, 7 different things. So many game services. Everybody was using what Sean Layton was saying in the article about, and then others. Even that there was somebody from the old Xbox guard that was saying that they were concerned about game services. What did PlayStation do? Oh man, I need to get that. I need to get that little that Usher thing where he said, "Watch this." PlayStation said, "I won't do the same thing." Games on PC. You're killing your console sales. You're killing them. PlayStation said, "Watch this." Bro. The only thing Sony is not really relinquished is that money about with the smart delivery. And that is going to be another thing that's going to bite Sony in the ass going forward. Man, day and date and what's y'all can have that. Y'all can have that. Y'all can have that. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said earlier, when that Activision deal drops, the Square Enix, I'm saying the Square Enix deal is going to happen. I feel it deep in my bones that it's going to happen with Sony. And that is a amazing get. I got no choice but to buy Final Fantasy on PlayStation. Well, on my PC or whatever, or however I make my choice after I buy my PlayStation 5. Going forward in the future, because like I said, that'll probably be my last PlayStation console that I buy, since they're going to be putting their games on PC. And that's not a disrespect or a slight or anything like that, because before people start saying that dumb shit, that's just me you know what I'm saying? That's economic sense. If I got me a PC that's comparable to, it's not as powerful as the PlayStation 5 or the Series X yet. I'm about to upgrade one more time for a good long while to where it is. Why do I need to buy? Why do I need to buy? It's no different than when a PlayStation gamer says, I'm going to give me a PC, give me a nice rig or a nice laptop, and I'm going to buy Xbox games there. I don't see nothing wrong with that. Do what you got to do. There's value there. That makes sense. If the Xbox is your side piece, why buy the Xbox? And that's how I feel about, I'm going to get a PlayStation 5 because I said I was going to get this console, and I'm going to get it. I ain't going to get the one I want, which is the digital one, because I can't even find those anymore. That's what I kind of been holding off and waiting for, but I'm just going to have to give me a regular PlayStation 5, which is fine. But after that, but I mean, come on now. Come on. All these narratives, it's taken a while, but they're dying on the vine. And nobody, and I mean nobody, can come out here and just, they keep on saying the same shit and it don't make sense. It don't. This console, they say exclusives matter, and they do for Nintendo. They matter, but do they matter as much as what people try to project them for Xbox and for PlayStation? I don't know. We had a conversation on GRG Friday. Me, Kids Move, and Ham Solo. Yeah, check that episode of GRG too. Kids Move was on the show. It's really, really good. And we asking it, and I asked Kids Move, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, will Halo going forward, because of what I fear about some of the things with the direction of, are they going to just kind of keep Halo between 1 and 3 and not really progress the franchise like I feel that they should? Is it going to be one of those things where Halo is not going to be the face of Xbox going forward in the future? And he said no. And I agree. If they don't progress Halo like they should, like God of War is going to most likely progress. I think this is going to be Kratos' last saga. From all indications, that's what it sounds like. and Atreus will probably be the new face or whatever. They might reboot it or something. I don't know. But from what all the indications is, this might be the last saga of Kratos. That's progression. That's the progression I'm talking about. If they keep on trying to keep it about the big green guy and Cortana, Halo is not going to progress. It's just not. And it will no longer be the face of Xbox. Now, that might piss off some Xbox gamers for me saying that, but I believe that. If you do not move forward to this franchise and make that universe bigger than just the big green guy, it ain't going to happen. But with that being said, will that slow down Xbox sales? As long as those prices is right, as long as those same titles, those certain titles keep coming to Xbox that are third party, they'll be fine. And what adds more icing on top of the cake is the fact that Xbox is going to acquire Activision, and one of those games is usually that's always up there at the top, which God forbid, I'm begging for Battlefield to overtake Call of Duty at some point in time, but they had two opportunities with one of the best online shooters that I've ever played in my life with Battlefield 4, and this and Call of Duty was slipping with Vanguard, and both times EA just, I don't know. So because I enjoy Battlefield more than I do Call of Duty, but there's no denying Call of Duty. I've sit there and thought that Call of Duty was going to be dead on the vine, going to be gone, finito chitons. There's no stopping that juggernaut. No stopping it. And Call of Duty could be the face of Xbox going forward. Or maybe there won't be an actual face to Xbox anymore, except for what was said on GRG. It could be Game Pass to be the face of Xbox. And there will be stands that will say, oh, see, look at that, man, Game Pass, because y'all don't have no games. You don't think Sony wouldn't be happy of saying what? PlayStation Plus is the face of Sony? Because that means it's blowing up. It means they're getting revenue hand over fist. That's what it is. So, I don't know. Right, Pixel. Xbox will have Forza, Halo, COD, Doom, Fable, Wolfenstein, Diablo. Everything, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the whole thing. Like, that's this narrative where exclusives are the one thing. I think it only matters with Nintendo, because Nintendo is always showing and proving that their exclusives sell the most than both Xbox and PlayStation. If Zelda came out and God of War came out at the same time, which one do you think would sell more? God of War or Zelda? It would be Zelda. You and I know that. The PlayStation community know that. The Xbox community knows that. Nintendo knows that. So, I mean, C-Mac said Flight Simulator is the face of Xbox. You clown. But listen, I don't know. I got to get out of here. I've been ran too long. I always say I'm going to do these about 15, 30 minutes, and I always do about an hour and a half, whatever. But I'm glad you guys come to stop by. But I just wanted to make this point about, like, look, man, this is, overall, the apology needs to be done. Xbox is doing a fantastic job in the situation that they're in. They're not that far away in sales overall worldwide from PlayStation, and that is telling. They are rolling. The people are feeling this. The people are back on board with Xbox. Only thing Xbox got to do is just provide what they've been providing and more. You know, and when I say that, provide more is because we don't want to see another 2022 when it comes to AAA games. That's it. This is an aberration. We know all these games are going to be slated to be coming, and then we'll be right back where we was in 2021, where we were like, "Now this is just too much shit going out there. Come on, man. It's it's too much. It's too much. It's too much. It's too many games right now. It's too. That's why I'm over here working on backlog from last year. That's why I started playing the Plague Tale last night, and I still got to play Guardians of the Galaxy. There was just so much to play last year. I didn't have the time, and it's going to happen again going forward. So let them talk about, oh, wait till E3. Oh, Xbox gamers keep waiting. I'm continuing to play games. That's why I got a backlog. That's why I buy the games that I buy, to make sure that I don't ever have to wait. I'm always gaming. But it is a crazy deal. So let's see. Future said maybe 50,000 behind Sony worldwide. Yeah, no, it's like somebody told me it was 6, 7, 8 million, 10 million. No, it's not. No, it's not. You know what I'm saying? The last thing that I seen, now that could have been for the month overall, that it was like less than 40,000. And it might be overall for overall sales, 1 or 2 million or something like that, 1 to 3 million or something like that. Maybe, I don't know. The numbers are kind of weird, because when I last seen it was like 40,000, less than 40,000. But I think that might have been the month of overall sales for that month or whatever. But that's still incredible when PlayStation has more regions in the world. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Xbox is, they always talk about Europe for PlayStation, but they don't ever talk about Latin America for Xbox. Xbox runs Latin America. They dominate it. Brazil, the biggest country in Latin America, that's Xbox country right there. You got Mexico. And Canada's not even a part of Latin America, and Canada's Xbox is doing well in Canada. So, I mean, that whole stretch is theirs. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and Xbox is doing well, from my understanding, in Europe, not as well as PlayStation. PlayStation has been really dominant over there, but it seems like that, like I said, Xbox is taking some mind share, and Game Pass is definitely a part of that. And it is one of those things. That's what I'm saying. Like, we keep our head too much into what Xbox did in the Xbox One era. That's why I said we need to give Xbox staff an apology, because they have done one hell of a job of maintaining. And anytime that there's some bad news, if you ever think about that, now Xbox is throwing out stuff like this. Look at these numbers that just popped out after some you get some news about PlayStation doing well. Everything is reversed. Everything is changing. Xbox is adapting. So they're fine, and they will be fine. And that's why I feel that they'll win at the end. And you know what I'm saying? And it doesn't mean that PlayStation is going to go away or anything like that. I mean, I still think that Nintendo will still be the most dominant console, especially they got the recipe that even if they drop a new console and they mark it up for $50 more, for $100 more for 400, they'll still probably be overall the overall best-selling console overall. But there's no question Xbox is making it happen. And that's just my point on that. So, but thank you guys so much, man. I'm finna get the hell out of here. Thank you for coming through. Again, thank you guys for giving me over 4,000. You know what I'm saying? I'm dropping some more content. I'll be dropping some gameplay content later on. Go check out GRG from last week. Really great discussions. And check out, I didn't have fight night because I had to take my wife to the hospital and stuff like that, but she good Monday morning. So yeah, and I probably might try to do some fight night tonight if I can get a hold of Yobi or whatever. We could play a couple of games or whatever. But definitely for fight night next Sunday, I'll be playing Multiverse, and so let's see how I do that. I did the tutorial, and I'm not into the Smash Brothers type games. That's not my thing. But I mean, I do respect them for what they are, because I think that they're great games. I just was late to that genre. My son loved the hell out of Smash Brothers, but I hated the controller on the on the GameCube, because I know it was on 64, but I never played it on 64. I only played it on GameCube with my kid, and I never liked that controller, so I stayed away from it until I got a Switch, and then I started playing. But I'm not that good at it, so I'm gonna get my head beat. So anybody want to come in there and give me a free beating, that's fine. But I will adapt. If you've watched me on Fight Night, I will adapt and learn, and I'll get your ass eventually. So we'll do that, and we'll do some Demon Slayer, and then if we got time for something else, we'll do that. So I hope you guys will keep checking out the content. Really appreciate it. I'm out. Thank you. Always. Yes. Yes, Fahim. Great conversation. Peace.